Hey guys, John from Juggernaut Performance. Today we're going to install the Roush Cold Air Kit on our 2021 Bronco. This is a 2.7 liter, but the install is going to be the same for both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by disassembling the factory components so that we can look at them side by side. You can do this with just an 8mm socket or a Torx if you prefer. You might need a little bit of a swivel to get to this one. But if you use a short ratchet or something like that, that's fine too. And some form of trim tool for the feed push pin up here in the front. So I'm going to take this apart real quick and then we'll lay it next to the Roush components. Alright, so we have the Roush upgraded components laid out on this table as well as the factory components. The first thing that we're going to prepare for installation is the lid. This is the Roush Lid. It's basically an OEM quality injection molded piece. It's got a clear glass window so you can monitor the filter. One thing I did notice, it's got a flag molded right into it, which means I'm assuming that it is molded here in the USA. That's really good of Roush to do, as it's a lot cheaper to mold in China. So a lot of people are talking about the cost of this kit for what's included. That's one of the things that likely brings the cost to where it is, and that's something that we can get behind here. So the factory lid has a snorkel on the front, kind of a cold air duct, which also has the water flapper in it. You can remove this off of the factory lid by simply getting a little bit forceful with it. If you prefer, you can use a prying device or a trim tool to assist, but it's not really required. And then it's very easy. Snap right onto the Roush lid. So the next thing we're going to do is install the seal. This is just a I'm not sure if it's rubber or silicone. I think it's just rubber, but you're going to pick a spot that you want it to end. I think we're going to go right there, and essentially follow the curvature of the lid. This is very self-explanatory. This is what's going to seal the lid from any outside dirt, debris, air, and keep it sucking cold air from the front feed. And this goes all the way around, including the feed snorkel. And then basically you're going to have to trim it once you get to the right length. Very quick, very easy, very self-explanatory, like I said. If you're struggling to keep it in the channel, just give it a little bit more slack. So now we're all ready to go there. We're just going to trim it basically the same way you trim a supercharger lid gasket, if you've ever done that, maybe on a Coyote. And then the lid is prepped. The only other thing left to do is to install the metal, might I add, Roush badge. Which has some pretty good quality double stick tape on it, being I can't even get the backing off. There we go. You can't really mess this up. It pretty much falls right into place down in this indent. So the next thing I'm going to look at is the filter. This is the stock filter. This is the Roush filter. Now, the inlet is the same here. The reason, again, that this costs a good bit of money, and why it might actually be an improvement where a lot of basic EcoBoost cold air kits do nothing, is the filter size. There's tons of increased volume, as well as an open end. Probably going to get a little bit more turbo noise, which a lot of people like. But it is going to be a lot more volume of air. Whether or not that translates to real world increases, I guess we'll have to find out. But substantially bigger surface area inside and out. The other nice thing is that they include a pre-filter. This is made by K&N. I can only assume the filter is also made for them by K&N, but it is a Roush specific filter. I know up here in New England we get a lot of snow and rain and dust even. I live on a dirt road. This pre-filter is going to go a long way with keeping junk from the oiled filter. So let's go back over to the Bronco and we can install it. Alright, so we're back here at the Bronco. I've clipped the filter down into place. Now this is just held in by force by the lid and molded in step in the bottom half of the airbox. Now you want to make sure that the filter does clip down in. It is a tight fit. You'll have to push it on, but once it's down in place, nice tight seal on the tube, and it's not going anywhere. I did put my pre-filter on with the logo facing up, so it should be visible through the window. So now we're ready to put the lid back on. So maybe before, you see, I was just about to say, before you actually clip it down into place, maybe just give another glance at your seal and make sure it's still in place. Sometimes a little bit of silicone grease on these can help hold them in place. If this is something that you're struggling a little bit with. Again, if it's pulling up and out of it, just kind of shift it around to have a little bit less pressure on it. You can even give it a little stretch if you need to. And once you're good to go, the lid just drops back down into place. You're going to use the same bolts that came out of it. Again, they're going to kind of self-tap into the new lid, and then just use your brain to line everything up. Once you get one in place and started, the rest should line up fine. Now, if you can't get it lined up, leave it loose so that you can wiggle it around a little bit. Now, everything is perfectly lined up, but there's always going to be a little bit of flex. In injection molded components, and then that seal. Until it compresses down a little bit, it's actually going to be fighting you. But it's okay because it's worth it for a nice seal. As you tighten this, you will feel the seal compressing down with the screws. The screws will start fighting you a little bit more at first, and then you'll kind of feel it as it tightens down. Just again, use your head. You'll be able to tell when it hits the seal. You'll be able to tell when there's pressure on the seal. They don't need to be 10 million foot-pounds. It's not going anywhere. So once it's installed, we're done. It looks great, but the install is wrapped up. Everything's bolted back into place. We're all done under here. It definitely looks great. Looks like a factory fit and finish part, as with most things from Roush Performance. I like it because it maintains the water diverter valve there. Looks great. Much larger filter volume. which is going to be much better than just like a basic drop-on cold air kit. We will see what else comes to market as we move down the line a little bit, but for now, it looks pretty good.